Okay, welcome back. So this is teardown video 1. Like I said before, it's not really going to be a step-by-step bolt for bolt one. If you're looking for that, there's a playlist on the 2500 where we did exactly that. Like I was saying in the last video, it's almost the same procedure, just a smaller displacement, but a couple of key things to keep in mind. Getting that intake off. One of the major differences in a 5.7 is that on the rear of the intake is where they have the actuator that controls the passages with I forget the name of it, but the long and short runners. There we go. Controls the long and short runners as the engine's running. And that connector, because it does have a lock on it, is a bear and a half to try to get undone because you don't have much slack. So I found it easy enough just to take the 3 bolts out that hold that module in and just let the module drop. Go ahead and take the intake out, and then you can get that connector off of that module later. Now there is a seal here. You may have to replace that seal, but we went ahead and took the fuel rail off of here just so we can empty it from fuel. It's pretty crusty right now. As you can see, it's just from years of oil changes and filling up for the oil. Oil's been dripping down here all through this side of the intake. It's just, it's just full of oil and dirt and crud. And let's see. And on the bottom here, you can see, and you probably would expect this because of its age, but all of the intake seals are just smashed completely flat. So every one of those will have to be changed out. There's literally no lip pointing over here on the bottom that should seal. I mean, those are pretty much even and flush. So what we're seeing so far, thankfully, is just a bunch of dirt. And from what I can see from inside of the intake valves, the valves are there. They don't look damaged. They don't look like they've been bent. Of course, we'll know more when we can get everything off of this, but we got pretty good progress so far. We're going to continue the tear down, and just key points. Another key point that we did with our 2500, first thing that we removed was the fan, the viscous clutch fan, the shroud, and you can see how much space that gives you to work with between here and here, and it actually gets it to the point where you can actually stand down in here to help you get the bolts off of that intake to get it out of there. One thing that we have found is that somebody, like all the other evidence is pointing to, someone has been playing on this motor before. All of the rear intake bolts were loose. There were a couple I could literally put the socket on and just spin them by hand to get them out. Now it could have done that. It could have done that over time, but usually those bolts are held in place with blue Loctite. So I find it hard to believe that it just worked themselves loose. So the next thing we'll do is that we're going to go ahead and finish. So the next video that you'll see, we're going to go ahead and take this radiator out of here again, just to help us free up some more space, because that'll get rid of our lower radiator hose as well. And then we'll start disassembling the front timing cover. In other words, dropping the water pump and then dropping the timing cover itself. It looks like it's going to be a pretty similar experience to the 6.4. We'll take the power steering pump off. We'll just kind of hang it off to the side, and then we'll get that big old flappy timing cover itself off, and that'll start giving us a better look of the internals of it. So we got that timing cover off, and then we'll get those valve covers off, and then once the valve covers off and the timing covers off, then we'll start taking the heads themselves off, and then getting a look at the lifters and such. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said before, it wasn't going to be a bolt by bolt, turn by turn event. Like I said, it's not too dissimilar to the 6.4 itself. Just the one major difference on that intake being that it's got that long and short runner manipulation, that little servo sitting in the back of it. But other than that, that's it. We'll continue to tear down and get into this and hopefully find the exact reason as to why it's having the issues that it's having. Oh, I'm sorry, one other thing while we're at it, and the wife noticed this. Let me get you a good shot of this. That appears to be oil mixed in to the coolant, and if that's the case, there's only one thing I know that would cause that, or two things I know that would cause that: either a blown head gasket or a crack in one of the heads that's allowing the oil and the water passages to intermix. Or like everything else we found on this truck, maybe it's more sabotage. Maybe someone decided to pour oil into the coolant to see, see how much more they could wreck. But with that being said, I'll let you go and see you back on the next piece, and we'll just continue stripping pieces off. Talk to you later. Bye.